Hey, welcome to this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Roberson, and this week we have the 2014 Camaro SS convertible. Now, before I drop the top on this Camaro SS, first thing you need to know is obviously its muscle car heritage. Now, the Camaro's been out for decades and really has made a full comeback when you look at this model. Has a little bit of the past and the present and possibly obviously the future looking at it. Now, I'm not a muscle car guy, and truly I've got 4 children and probably find the stylings of a minivan to be a little bit more attractive, but I kind of loosened my tie just a little bit and really tried to find my niche behind the wheel. Now, whether you're a full-blown gearhead or a novice behind the wheel like me, there's nothing you can really find wrong with the 2014 Camaro SS convertible. Now, obviously looking at the exterior, it draws hard lines from the nostalgic past, but again, a hint of the future of where this vehicle is going. Now, if you're not a full horsepower geared person, you can go with the LS, LT versions. It has a little bit less horsepower under the hood, but on this model, the SS is truly about the power and getting the spunk off the line. Now, standard wheels on this vehicle is going to be an 18 or 19 inch, or on the SS, it's going to be a 20-inch version. Now, obviously by the numbers, this is going to have about a 112-inch wheelbase and pretty stretched overall, about 190 inches. And by those numbers, those are comparable to even full-size sedans, even some SUVs. So lengthwise, it is a pretty big offering, but again, you've got the convertible and the trappings of a typical coupe inside. So seating is going to be limited to about 2+2 design. Now, obviously on this vehicle, you want to know what the grip and what you're sitting on. On this vehicle, it comes standard with Performance 245 45s in the front and Performance 275 40s in the back. There is the optional Performance 285 35s as well. Now, what I noticed with these tires, of course, it's easy and fun to burn them down when you're trying to get off the line. Now, anytime you see the SS insignia on anything Chevy, of course, what they're referring to is the power under the hood. Now, in this vehicle, that's a 6.2 liter V8 engine, which delivers about 420 plus horses and 420 foot-pounds of torque. Now, where those numbers really come into play is off the line and when you go to stomp the gas. Now, I'm kind of a novice behind the wheel, especially when you do the clutch stance. So I did try my 0 to 60 numbers just to see what they can do. And I got around about the 6.1 time frame, obviously leaving a lot of rubber on the road, a lot of smoke pouring out the back. So those are decent numbers. Most people can probably trim that just a little bit more. Now, the SS engine comes coupled with a 6-speed manual transmission. Now, there are 2 versions, a little bit of gear ratio tweaking between the 2, but either way, the 6-speed manual really gives you that spunk off the line and, of course, allows you to burn those tires down quite well. Now, if you're looking for a little bit less spunk, that is the LS and LT versions, which comes with a 3.6 liter V6 engine. Now, it's going to deliver over 320 horses and around about 278 foot-pounds of torque. Now, obviously, that's a little bit less power versus this SS, which this version is the go-to choice in my opinion. And of course, dropping the top is the added bonus. Now, with such horsepower under the hood, you've really got to have stage presence, and this vehicle does it right front and center. Now, on this vehicle, you're going to notice the body color and, of course, the black inserts that contrast and give this a real menacing front end. Now, one thing to note, this vehicle does have the air extractor on the hood, basically allowing that air to kind of come in down low and extract right on top of the hood. That, of course, helps with performance and keeps that engine nice and cool. Now, once you drop the top on the Camaro SS, it really gives it its split personality, allowing you to have that open air feel versus the coupe. Now, by the design inside, it's a 2+2 like layout, meaning the 2 front passengers really have enough leg room. By the back seat is a little bit knee bleeding. Now, by the numbers, that's about 42 inches of leg room up front and 29 in the back. And I was able to get some extra people in the back seat as long as I gave in the front. Now, we talked about the nostalgic feel from the outside of this vehicle, but you can also find it right here behind the steering wheel and these square line gauges that you'll see. Now, front and center, of course, is the oversized tachometer and speedometer, and right between it, you'll notice the digital readout that will give you speed, fuel economy, and even G-forces as you're driving. Now, all this is integrated with the heads-up display on this vehicle, allowing you to see that information right there reflected on the glass, so you really don't have to, let your eyes leave the road. Now, one area that's not nostalgic on this vehicle is the MyLink system, pretty much the LCD screen front and center on the dash. Now, that we've talked about it before on other GM vehicles, and it houses all the entertainment that you need right there at your fingertips, everything from XM, Bluetoothing devices, and of course, all the various settings you can do on this vehicle. Now, one thing we did notice on this vehicle when we were testing out the time trials and really trying to get our 0 to 60 is there's no real true gauging of that on this vehicle built in. Now, that's in comparison to like the Chrysler 300 SRT8 that we drove, that really allowed the vehicle to time that for you and really give your numbers right there on the dash. Now, in this vehicle, we did notice some lap times where if you are hitting the road track, you can go around the curves and really test your timing on that. But otherwise, getting 0 to 60 was the old traditional stopwatch. Now the styling cues culminate here kind of at the back end where you've got that rear spoiler built in, and of course the black stripe continued onto the rear deck lid. Now, this being a convertible, obviously cargo space, there's not really much to talk about. Actually, there's not much to talk about on the coupe either. Now, for the coupe, the cargo space is around about 11 cubic feet, and you're going to lose about 1 cubic feet on the convertible model. Now, what's great about the Camaro is basically there are tons of options and trim levels that can fit any caliber. Now, again, we talked about the anemic V6 that basically delivers to anyone that wants less horsepower. And of course, you got the SS here that delivers tons of it. Now, if you want to go to the top echelon, of course, that's going to be the Z28, and it's going to have over 500 plus horses. Now, what I loved about this vehicle is, of course, I tried the 0 to 60. We got it around that 6-second time frame, and obviously a lot of people can do a lot better. But what is even best about this vehicle is when you're at full speed, when you're on the go, it still has the giddy up to get around slower vehicles and really be the true muscle car that you're probably looking for. Now, the biggest difference you're going to notice on this convertible model than the coupe is the cloth top itself, and obviously it gives you a little bit of styling differences, and the biggest is going to be the rumble that you hear on the inside of this vehicle. Obviously, this is a muscle car, it's meant to be driven hard, and all of that exterior noise will invade the cabin just a little bit, and that is to be expected. But the best feature on this vehicle is the top and being able to drop it and have the dynamic differences from coupe to convertible styling. Now, one of the biggest decisions once you're inside the Camaro SS is whether to go top down or top up. And if you decide to drop the top, it's real easy. There is a one twist locking system that allows you to release the top. Then you press the corresponding button and it goes down. Now, the operation is fairly simple. It goes down and it will indicate on the dash when it is totally dropped or when it's totally up. Now, once it's down, you do have the optional tonneau cover in the trunk. It folds out real simple and covers up all the kind of operations to make it nice, seamless look. Now, I'd like to thank you for watching this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Roberson, and we tried out the 2014 Camaro SS convertible. Now, that obviously has the split personality of the coupe and the convertible and allows you to get that open air feel with the press of a button. Now, under the hood, of course, this had the massive horsepower you're looking for. Just falls short of the Z28, of course, but it still gets you off the line. Now, I'd like to thank you for watching, and as always, keep both hands on the wheel and eyes straight ahead.